do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Con Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me?
Pacho, this is Con Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. All right. What's going on, everybody? Another week behind us, and Baby Friday is upon us, or Friday Night's Eve, as I also like to say. We got a really cool show today. I'm kind of giggling right now because I was having a conversation with Brian, the director of our show here, before coming on just a few seconds ago. But hey, before we get all the the show out of the way, let's just do the do and just talk about who our sponsors are. This show is brought to you by Primerica. Hey, let me ask you something. Is everybody here? Who here is driving around in their retirement? What do I mean by that? Is who here has gotten, it's got all the bling, all the cool stuff, has all these, necessary things that you're purchasing, with every promotion, and basically living in debt and, just trying to maintain a status that you really don't need to be in. So at Primerica, they can help you out by conducting a financial needs analysis. They can give you a blueprint as to what is it, where should you be, routing your funds, so that way you can earn money, save money, and get out of debt. So it's on the show bio right there. Go ahead and go to Primerica. It'll take you straight to the website. Submit, an email and get you going from right then and there. And who knows? And 10, 15 years from now, your money has doubled, and you could be a baller. The show is also brought to you by by Castle Global Services. At Castle Global Services, they have an array of many different services, from commercial and residential. You want to smarten up your house. You are both on the commercial and residential side. They have this great product called Vivint. With this thing, you can pretty much, you can make your home a smart home. And by the way, if you have one of those cameras that go on your doorbell, you have automated air conditioner thermostat, as well as an alarm system. That right there makes your house, qualifies your house a smart home, and it'll raise your value by a minimum of $10,000. So go on castleglobalservices.acnibo.com and check it out at the most. And they have some great promotions with a free pad, free camera, and all kinds of other goodies out there, just by you signing up, enrolling. And if not, check it out and see what else they can tell you. So that's that. Also, the show is brought to you by we wouldn't be here if we didn't have the American Constitution, freedom of speech, the right to bear arms. So this show is all about that. I support the Constitution, since I came to this country, and as a service member. So if you like the show, stick around, like, subscribe, and follow. And if you don't, that is okay too. You can go ahead, swipe left. Perhaps check something out from SitchRadio.com. They got a bunch of awesome shows on there, like I Podcast Dad, Combat Vet Vision with Chief Siebert, where yours truly got started. You see what I did there, Aaron? I'm pumping up your show on the side. And Todd DeBow, who's also a veteran himself. And so, I mean, they got anything and everything to tickle your fancy if you want to, listen to something else. All right. But support your local podcaster. In addition to that, this show is also supported by the VA. So here's an awesome message from them.
This is a message from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. If you were exposed to toxic substances while serving in the military, a new law called the PACT Act may make you eligible for additional benefits and care. The PACT Act benefits veterans of the Vietnam era, Gulf War era, and post 9/11 era who were exposed to toxic fumes, burn pits, Agent Orange, radiation, and other environmental hazards. Survivors of toxic exposed veterans and veterans who served in specific countries in Africa, the Middle East, and Southwest Asia are also potentially eligible. Learn more about the PACT Act by going to va.gov/PACT or by calling 1-800-MY-VA411. We at VA are here for you. and we're ready to get you the care and benefits you've earned and deserve. I'm Mike Richmond.
Thanks, Mike, for that awesome PSA. By the way, and I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it until everybody gets their compensation that they rightfully so earned. Is now's the time to apply for your benefits and your claims. So even though you already have a rating and you may be at 60%, well, by you reapplying, you may get that 70% or get bumped up. So the bottom line is that you can keep applying and reapplying. Or if you've been one of those like you know a former somebody who's been a guest of the show a couple of times, and I know he's listening to me right now, you've earned these benefits, so please go ahead and submit a claim, get the clock going, because it's all retroactive. Even if it takes a year, because that's a year you can put a claim. um, Retroactive claim you go back to. So if you get 100% and you're making those, it's around $4,300, is that what they're paying right now? That'll go back all the way to the beginning of that year, so it's all retroactive. So you should be submitting right now for your claims, in addition to many other things. So if you have any question or assistance, let me know. Shoot 'em, send me a direct message. I will get you plugged in with the right folks, and I can even help you navigate some of that website. So, and as a matter of fact, I think we're in the process right now of putting the show together, where I'll be able to share the screen and blah blah blah, to because I know that the website is kind of cumbersome right now, as most government websites can be. So, anyways, nonetheless, that's the announcement. So get your claim in, bitch. Stop being lazy. All right, that's all that. Let's kick off with the show. So as I was talking with Brian, earlier, in regards to the show and many other different things, is that you know some I've said it in the past, is that sometimes just shows write themselves up, for whatever reason. Now I'm not trying to again, and I thought this might be somewhat of a watered down disclaimer. I'm not trying to draw the line in the sand, but if we want to talk about this stuff, let's go ahead and talk about it. As a matter of fact, if you want to jump on the show, you want to give me your 2 cents, say your piece on the show, and maybe we can agree or agree to disagree. That's fine. Please go ahead and throw it. It'll be right there on the comment section. So come on in. Let's have some Discord and see what happens. But nonetheless, hey, look, listen. Um, there's a lot of things going on lately, within our country that I just don't agree, and I think we should talk about it. I mean, again, it's not the field up. If we didn't go out to the field and talk shit and talk about stuff and shit that was either current events or things going on around the world, or we just wanted to just talk about some weird random shit like we always did. But and so I know I have people who that come from many different backgrounds, political views whatsoever. And again, that's the whole premise of us communicating, is opening those lines, because I think we're all too divided right now and caught up on our own little box, that nobody wants to hear each other's point of view. And when we do and we don't agree with it, some people are just like, well, you're this, you're that, you're a racist, you're a bigot, homophobe, blah blah blah, this and that. But anyways, so I was in a group chat, and so shout out to my high school alumni friends, the cool kids from South Miami Senior High School, on our little chat group. So one of my friends from the chat group threw this link on the group chat. Now I want you to watch this, because I enjoyed it just as you will.
Good afternoon, parents. Good afternoon, boys and girls. Shut the fuck up. Hey.
Not nice.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
You need to leave? No, bitch.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's out.
Yeah, what a nice young man. Now, first of all, again, in a lot of my friends on that group chat, they're educators. And it's a tough job out there. I mean, geez, Luis, I think they, as educators, they have it tough. I mean, again, and not comparing them to emergency responder, military, or whatever, but it's a tough business being an educator. When you're out there nowadays. I actually, initially when I was getting my undergrad done, I wanted to be a teacher when I get out of the service, but my path took me another route and everything. I mean, I still haven't put that thought completely out. However, I mean, it's tough out there. So when I saw this video and we were all having, a very cool conversation, I was like, shit, we should just talk about this during the show. Uh, you know, my first thoughts again, my first thought is what is going on in that child's home because we are somewhat of a mirror of our environment. So what is going on in that kid's house? How are the parents talking to one another? What's going on that makes it okay for this kid to blurt out, that type of language at his school? That would be my first question. You know, what is going on in that environment? Or if, let's say everything is, hunky dory and fine. Well, what is this kid being exposed to with, uh, and one of these goddamn things, that were, or an iPad or whatever it is that they're watching that the parents aren't monitoring and that they're learning. Again, it's a learned behavior. That kid is about, I'd say 5, 6, 7 years old. So it's a learned behavior, and it's what makes it okay for him to say that. So, let me tell you, and a lot of us, or I was raised old school, or not. You can say old. No, I'm not gonna say that. I was raised in a very particular in a traditional Latin American home in Medellin, Colombia, where pretty much over there, and just like in any Latin American countries, or most, you know, again, I'll be 50 years old this year. Yeah, yeah. But I was raised where basically, spanking, or another term of endearment for that is ass whipping. So, I mean, let me tell you, my mom, God bless her soul, she's still alive, by the way. She's not that tall, but god damn, can this lady pack an ass whipping? Let me tell you all. I mean, we used to call her La Coronela, the Colonel. So, and my mom did not. She did not fuck around. Uh, and I was hell. I'm to this day. I'm still. Even though, yeah, we, her and I have had some disagreements, and I've raised my voice, whatever. But I've done and when I've done it at a distance because I know she can whip out whatever, la chancla. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is this. It's the Latin's version of a UFO, and UFO slash boomerang. And Latin mothers are so fucking accurate with this. It's like an aborigine in Australia playing the didgeridoo. That oh shit. Like, I feel a disturbance of the force. They're fucking off upstairs, and my mom would just like and so pa pa pa, oh no, por favor, pa pa pa, and then she would put it back on, and I mean, it was like fucking chancla was a great pacifier, man. I mean, it was no joke, and or anything that was available within her reach or line of sight became a weapon of mass destruction for my sister and I. My mom did not fuck around. So that being said, my mom was not my friend growing up. She was not my friend, and I think uh, you know parents nowadays, and you can agree to disagree me. If you don't like what I'm saying, please tell them. Let's come on the show. Let's talk about it. But my mom was not my friend, and just like when I raised my kids, yes, sometimes I did use corporate punishment. There were some ass whippings handed out, and I held them accountable. You know, you can agree to disagree, and that's fine. But I was literally afraid of my mom. I did, afraid, and I respected it, and I still respect her, and maybe a little bit of afraid of her too at the same time. I'm not bullshitting, but I think we've lost that. We're losing touch with something because our kids nowadays, they're just too ballsy, and they just think that, oh, hey, it's all about feelings and this and that, which is that's fine. Validating your feelings. My son once, was upset at me, and I'm not talking to you, and I did this, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, that's fine. You're entitled to be upset. Get your ass upstairs and be upset in your room. I don't want to hear that shit. And see you down here, you spreading hate and discontent. Go do it in your bedroom. And by the way, if you destroy anything up there, I'll go over there and I'll destroy you. I mean, that's the way it went down. I've gone, we travel a lot around the world, but one of the places, obviously, I love going back to Colombia, because that's where my family is and everything else. But one thing that I have noticed, even in that culture where it was like that back in the day, there's been a huge paradigm shift where parents don't reprimand their kids like they're supposed to, or correct them. It's all this. When I took a humanities class, and one of the things is that it's called laissez-faire parenting, and basically it's like, fuck it, if our kids are gonna be little, you know, feral children, kind of like uh, Lord of the Lord of the not Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies. It's a book that we used to have to. Basically, these kids come, they end up stranded in this ship. There's a shipwreck, and all these kids essentially end up being feral in this little island, and they just run havoc and basically end up, they kill each. It's a really good book. It's a must read. But anyways, there's been a huge paradigm shift where parents have just become too pussy to say something to their kids. And if in the base, I was that one, even in the military, on the base, there were sometimes these little kids just running amok around the neighborhood or around the PX, just throwing rocks and shit. Yes, I'm 100% telling you, throwing rocks at vehicles and shit like that, and nobody would say a freaking thing. And I would be like, hey, who's your parent? Fucking knife handing them and just saying, get your ass home, blah, blah. I didn't care. My wife, my kid's mom at the time, she was always embarrassed. I mean, she's like, please just let it go. Don't say shit. I'm like, no, if nobody else is going to correct them, somebody needs to, and teach that, tell that kid to get their ass home and do what they're supposed to be. So kind of getting back, what I'm saying is that we have to hold our kids accountable. Bottom line, we have to, there has to be consequences. We as human beings, that's how we learn. That's how you train, that's how we train, your pets at home. Hey, you don't go in the house, regardless. And some people are gonna, oh my God, you're gonna rub its nose on its shit and blah. It doesn't matter. Okay, here's you get mad, upset at the dog, you take it outside, that's where it goes. And it's again, that's how animals learn. A dog or a wolf in the wild. Oh, look, a porcupine. I'm gonna try to eat this thing. Oh shit, I got just stung all over my face. I'm not gonna bite that type of thing ever again or anymore. Consequences. That's how we learn, and that's experience and the consequences are the best teachers in life. So, we're not holding our kids accountable. So and I think you've heard me say this before. You want to know why we're having so much shit and going on with these 20-plus-year-old kids rolling into 30s? Because I mean, like I said, I'm getting 50. I'm going to be 50, and our kids are in their late 20s, early 30s already. My wife and I, all our entire platoon that we have of kids. I mean, they're getting. But you want to somebody here's like, oh, what's going on with this generation? Blah blah. It's our fault, is the bottom line, people. We cuddle like our kids. We didn't want to, and that's fine. We don't want them. We don't want them to struggle with, too much to the point where, oh shit, down the street, whatever. That's fine. But when you over cuddle and then what all this shit that's going on, here's the problem. I mean, I was just watching another video earlier where the people are looting all over Walmart, and and then during, again, I'm not trying to politicize this show whatsoever, but we have all these riots and all this other shit going on. Is where are the parents? And then there were those videos on the other flip side, moms going out there and snatching their kids and pretty much handing out ass whippings as they're being taped live, or on their phone, on social media. But those are the kind of parents that we need. I mean, shit, if it wasn't for the ass whippings that I got, and believe me, by all means, I earned all of them. I mean, 100%. I mean, looking back at my book, there's no way I can say, no, I didn't deserve that one. No, I I earn each one, and that's fine. I'm not here. I'm not here to blame my mom because I'm thankful that I was raised that way because it made me the individual. And she was, and you know, I love my dad. However, and my parents were divorced, but my dad was still involved, uh, in our lives and whatever and all that good stuff. So it doesn't matter that you have to. I know there's statistics right there. Well, when if the man leaves and there's not, and yeah, if that individual is not involved, if both parents are not involved, whether you're married or not married, but if they're involved in in that child's life, the kid is going to be fine. Would it be preferable that both parents, were there at the house, living together, and all that good stuff? Yes, of course. Their chances, they are even much greater of being successful. But if both parents are, they're not together, but you're that intrusive parent, knee deep in their shit, you're in, they'll be okay. They will be okay. And let me tell you, I was, one thing that I will, thank my kid's mom for is that we were those intrusive parents. I mean, that was one thing, right? I mean, um, I didn't feel the need or to, inspect my kids, in their drawers and all that shit. But I was knee deep in their shit. When they came home, hey, sit your butt down. When they come from school, hey, sit your butt down. Have a glass of juice. Have a treat. Let's start doing homework. You know, and I was there. Yeah, sometimes when they messed up, the time stamp, whatever. Yeah, I would. Hey, it's not like that. I told you. Hey, but you know what? My kids, they graduated high school. Because I was there if they were playing outside. Guess who was outside? This guy or mom. I mean, it was like that up until I don't know, preteen or didn't give a shit because we again kind of switching over to a little bit to the base. A lot people on base thought that they were in this protective bubble that hey, nothing from the outside world is gonna happen. Well, no shit. This We came home once. We went to watch a movie as a family. We're rolling into our house. 3 houses before our house was full of the military police and NCIS. Well, come to find out, the neighbor, which we knew, the dude was a fucking pedophile. And this guy had, he was prior army. So 9 times out of 10, he probably had a track record of other kids prior to him getting, coming into the Marine Corps. And the guy was a sergeant coming into the Marine Corps. He probably had a, track record of other kids that, he had molested and such. So, even on the base, the point I'm trying to make is that even on the base, we weren't protected. We thought we were. Oh, this shit doesn't happen here. Well, bullshit. Yes, it did. So again, we were that intrusive parent that if we were oh, I'm gonna go to so and so's house. Oh yeah, where do they live? Are their parents there? No? Or okay, well then you can't go. Oh, where are you going? So and so. Have I met them? No, not yet. Well, let's go meet their parents. And I mean, I used to walk my ass over there, or even if driving, I mean, we used to go over there and I would meet the parents. My kids hated it, but I felt that much better knowing, okay, parents are home. They seem like a good couple. Yeah, nothing weird going on in the house. Okay, yes, you can. I trust you with my kid because if I don't, I will fuck you up and wreak havoc on you. I mean, that's straight up. So you have to be, and we cannot be our kids. Our friends, when they're at that age and growing and learning through life, you got to be a mentor, a trainer, and set them up for success with the tools that that you have, and empower them that so that later on in life they can make those right decisions. You can't be there. Oh, my my 8-year-old is my best friend. Oh, oh, it's okay, buddy. You can be feral and talk horrible to adults and call them by their first name. No, you cannot. They cannot do that. Their brains are still developing, and so and they can't comprehend. Oh well, oh yeah, make the difference. Oh, Mister So and So, hey Joe, or hey whatever. That again, that shit did not fly at my house whatsoever. I mean, Mike, again, our parenting style is Mister So and So, Mrs. Oh, call me so and so. I don't want to feel though. And I was like, hey, dude, no, my kid calls you by your last name. That is the way, that's how we do things at our house. It's not trying to make you old. It's just, it's respect. That's how I raised. So if you could please do me a favor and, honor that, I would really appreciate. Oh yeah, yeah, no problem, bro. That's cool. Da da da. I mean, period. That's what we, that's what we did, and I think we did okay. You know, yeah. Do we have other things that affect us in our life that shape us and mold us, and yeah, that's called experience and life, good or bad. Everything teaches us a lesson in life. But I am thankful that both my parents, yes, and by the way, they came from a traditional home, and back in the day when I was growing up, there was there was divorce, but there wasn't, if you know what I mean. It just, that shit wasn't really talked about or done. So, but my parents, divorced, but my dad was still involved. He was part of his life. We went and spent a lot of time with him and his family, and even though they didn't get along when they were together, they did provide us a stable home for my sister and I. So again, you can be the best dad or best mom in the world, but you need to be involved in your kid's life. Don't expect, kind of now, looking at the other, on the flip side, don't expect your kids to be glad to be a part of your life if you're not far involved, and you just walked out of their lives, somewhere in the middle. um, because there's going to be some type of resentment. Yeah, they may forgive you to some degree, but I mean, you're still going to have that conversation someday where they're going to, you're going to have to pay that toll, and answer some uncomfortable questions, or some possible lash outs from your kids, basically telling you what the fuck, right? But you know going back and kind of making full circle is, this child right here, are the parents involved? Are they monitoring the kids? Again, do they just hand them a fucking iPad in the afternoon? Here, watch this. You're being rowdy. Here, watch this, and start watching all kinds of videos of, let social media and everything else just feed you some weird shit, and oh, that's okay to talk like this, or blah blah blah. No, you can't do that. The sad thing is that uh, you know I was part of that generation that still played outside, and thank God that my kids, who are again, mid 20s, early 30s, um, they were part of that generation, because I used to kick their asses out of the house, go play, and when and some of their friends too, started getting iPhones and tablets and all this. Well, how come we can't get this shit? Well, it might as well, because your dad is in the military, he doesn't make that much, and if your friends do, then I don't have, his credit is my credit is not that deep where I'm going to put myself in debt just to get you a fucking iPad or whatever else. Play outside like everybody. Grab a stick, smear some shit on it, and chase your sister with it. You know. So, and we used to do outside things too. But the bottom line is that you have to be involved. You have to set the example, and be not only, again, kind of putting the military spin on it, that intrusive leader that I was, but also you need to be that intrusive parent. If not, then you're going to have uh, the shit that's going on right now. Shout out to Nessa from the Cool Kids group. Thank you for your throwing that awesome comment right there. Yeah, and I do fear for our future. And yes, all our kids, well, not all of them, but the majority of them, it's just they're so codependent on these devices, that it's just it's it's crazy. I mean, it's ludicrous that how people just lose their shit when, which I do to some degree, but I'm there, everything has to be posted, everything, just the photo, the this, the that, and that's the new babysitter. Those are the new. It used, me growing up. I mean, I could quote movies and old TV shows like you can't believe, but you know nowadays, yeah, you're right. That is the biggest competition between educators, and you guys have a rough, you know that one of the things I was talking about with Brian, before I kind of start wrapping things up, is that, like I said, in Colombia, I remember some of the schools, they used to hand out corporal punishment. It wasn't as whippings like at the house, but nonetheless still corporal punishment. I used to go in this one school, the when the bell rang, you didn't switch classrooms like they do here in the U.S. In this one particular school, the teachers rotated, so you stayed in the same classroom. You had your homeroom teacher or your main teacher, and then they just kind of went on a roundabout. Anyways, this dude was notorious for throwing either the chalk or the eraser. And back in the day, we used to use chalk to write on the boards and everything. So this one time, I forgot his name, but he threw this eraser at this one kid. I mean, dead center right here. And this dude had like this white racing stripe, and he looked like Pepe Le Pew. And he told him, leave it there for the rest of the day. If you take that off, you and me are gonna have an issue. And I mean, that dude, he kept it on there. I was in 5th grade. This is a year before I came to the United States. But nonetheless, and I'm not saying that teachers should put their hands on you, but there's got to be, again, we got to educators have to be able to reprimand your kids. And again, I'm not saying put their hands on you, but there's got to be some type of punishment and course of action, because if we don't do that, again, that's how we learn from experience. There got to be consequences, some way, shape, or form. Then let's not complain about kids are all fucked up nowadays. Pardon my French. Don't complain about it, because we're the ones who this is our fault. And as they get older, we're gonna, as this generation of those troubled kids are getting older, we're gonna see a lot more shittier behavior from grown ass adults. You know what I'm saying? So, and you're right. Nobody wants to be accountable. Oh my God. Well, did you hand out ass whippings when with your kids when you're growing up? If the answer is no, and you say, Timmy, don't let me count to 10, god damn it, then well, shit, this is the problem. Now little Timmy is acting like a dipshit out in public, and throwing a temper tantrum on social media and saying we should cancel this place because they're not honoring my feelings. God damn it. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, folks, that's my rant for today. Thank you for joining. Hey, I want to give another shout out to Nessa from the Cool Kids, and everybody else. I hope you joined the show. Like, subscribe, and follow. And everybody else out there, if you know a veteran that in your circle, do a buddy check on them. And if you're a veteran and you haven't checked on a buddy lately, or you've been ruminating with the thoughts, going down that rabbit hole, your PTSD, anxiety, depression, all that stuff is acting up, give somebody a call. Make yourself do a buddy check. That way, and then I challenge everybody here that's listening to the show. Hey, man, how you feeling? How you doing? No is okay. So tell me what's up. And then if something where you need help, reach out to my show, send me a DM, and reach out to the VA, Military One Source, all the other agencies that are out there to help you out. Because while all these challenges, push-ups, and walks around the U.S. are all great and dandy, it doesn't bring that life back. Is because suicide is not the only option. Everything shall pass. It may be shitty, but everything will pass. Speaking from experience. So, anyways, thanks for joining our show, everybody. Hope you liked it. Throw some comments right there in the comments box, and we can have a chat offline. With that being said, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and end Dex right here. Get some. Daisuke, aishitemasu. Peace out. See you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.